What's up, guys? It's day 2 of recording videos for our COVID karate. This is COVID Karate Cave, we've named it. So this is our backdrop we've created for kind of our first couple of days. It's going to be improved greatly as we progress, and hopefully we don't progress very long. We can get out of this place pretty soon. But I got a really cool surprise for you today. We've got from Team Thousand Oaks. He's also got an awesome surprise for you. He's got Sensei Courtney from Team Chino Hills. So each day, or rather each week, we're going to be putting together our videos. We're going to be doing 3 group classes. Today, I'm going to be working on the advanced class. We're recording that one to be released to you guys hopefully later today, maybe tomorrow morning at the latest. We've got Sensei Devin, who's going to be working on the beginner level. We've got Sensei Courtney, who's going to be working on the intermediate level. So hopefully, if we can keep consistent and persistent with this whole thing, we'll get through this virus to the other side, coming out stronger with new skills in place, and we'll also be staying proficient on our martial arts. So see you soon. What's up, guys? So we were planning on, when the studio was open physically, we were working through the 5 animals in the month of March, and we're continuing on with that. This would have been Snake Week, so it's Snake Week. So for the first part, we're going to be working on warm-ups just like we do in every one of our videos. This is going to be a leg-focused workout today because the snake needs that explosive energy from its legs to be able to move and strike. So the first warm-up is going to be something that I call side-to-side lunges or twist stance lunges. So you can start from kind of a horse stance. You're crossing behind, let your knee almost come down to the ground, not quite all the way, and then switch back to the other side. So side to side. Since this is the advanced workout, you're going to want to make sure you're rolling your guard while you're doing your lunges. You're going to do 3 sets of 10 of that one, so that's a total of 3 times 10, 30 of them. All right, pause. The second exercise for the warm-ups today, leg focus, is going to be pop squats. So think of it like a plyo squat. A lot of people will call it that, plyometric squat. So I'm going to have my hands next to my jawline like I'm on guard. I lower down until my thighs are parallel to the ground. I'm going to come up, but just barely pop my feet off the ground. So again, down, pop up, down, pop up. You're doing a total, like the other set, you're doing 3 sets of 10, so a total of 30. All right, so the next exercise, remember we're doing 4 leg exercises. This is the 3rd one. So I want you to go in succession, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're not going to be taking a break before we get to our abs. Make it 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to burn those legs out so that those kiddos have a little bit less energy to be able to torment you with. So this one I call jump switching lunges. Call it whatever you want. Name it Fred. So I'm starting with one knee almost touching the ground, not quite. I switch until the other one not quite touches the ground. When I do my switch, every time my left leg comes forward, it counts as 1. So it's 1, 1, and 2, and so on and so forth. Up to 10, 3 sets of 10. And last but not least, on the 4 exercises is going to be frog hops. Good old fashioned, as if you're a 5-year-old frog hops. Touch the ground with both hands, eyes up, jump up, knees to the chest, and come all the way back down. All you're doing is 1 set of 10 of those. The total number of exercises for your legs should be 30 plus 30 plus 30 plus 10 equals, answer it in the comments. All right, the last exercise, abs every day, everybody. You know those abs heal like super, super fast. So get your ab workouts every single day. Your core strength will pay off in dividends later in strength and power, explosiveness, and all that stuff. So what we're going to be doing for our two ab exercises only. Number 1, we're going from leg lifts, so both legs lifting at the same time. I'm going to do countdowns. I do 10 here. Then as soon as I'm done with my 10, I'm going to pop over to a plank position the long way on your elbows. 10 seconds looking forward. Then 9. Then 8. Then 9. And so on and so forth until you get down all the way to 0. All right, guys, for your basics, for your warm-up today, this is going to be, again, there's another pink elephant in the room. I understand that I'm holding 4.5 feet, more like 3 feet of gold in my hands right now. This means that I can't go to the bathroom later on tonight, but I am willing to sacrifice for the betterment of the videos. So what we're going to be working on is some snake strikes today. For this is the advanced level, so realistically, if you can't poke through toilet paper with your spear poke by now, then again, come back, your first group class back, hand me your belt and apologize emphatically. So we're going to have Sensei Courtney jump in for this one, just to show how we can do this. So here she comes. So she's going to be in a horse stance, and she's just going to poke through with her right hand with the spear poke. You want to make sure that your hand is nice and tight. Your fingers are kind of extended and joined like hers are. Thumbs tucked in really tight to the side. So it shouldn't look like a big marshmallow popping through it. Now, she's really strong, so we're going to double ply this Moog Jamma for her. So she's going to poke through with her left hand just to show off. Go. Oh my gosh. You ripped it at the perforation, Sensei Courtney. Then the very last one with her right hand, she's going through 8 plies of toilet paper. Go. Now we can reuse it for later. So just in case you don't want to waste a precious commodity and use your toilet paper, most of the students, regardless of their conditioning, can probably poke through a sheet of regular standard sheet of lined paper. So you're going to make sure that your hand is nice and tight. Curl your fingers down slightly. So when she's doing her spear poke through the middle, I'm going to hold nice tension on either side. When she pokes through the middle, easy peasy and squeezy. We'll even double this one up because I know how ninja strong her hands are. Go. Now parents, when you're holding it, make sure you're pulling it apart so that it's nice and tight. If you leave it loose like that, then that's when kids will run into it with their fingertips and could possibly hurt their fingers. So just be careful. Pause. All right, the last part. So we're working a conditioning drill on this one. It's not like you're going to jump from 1 to 4, 1 to 7. Think of it like you're going through toilet paper, then maybe through paper, and then if you got like construction paper or something like that from all the art projects you guys have been working on that maybe you don't think are fridge worthy, then you can poke through those with your spear pokes also. This is something I picked up from my brother, Master Brookman. He always called it Costco Kung Fu. So he takes the boxes that get delivered to him, rather that his stuff gets put in at Costco, and he takes his hand in various positions and fingers and whatever, and he tries to go through the boxes sometimes. I'm going to actually curve mine a little bit more for this one, because honestly, I don't even know if I can do it. But we're just trying to put our fingers together and then try to poke through a cardboard box with your fingertips if you can. This one's a little thicker, so I might suggest you guys take a kind of a lighter one just to start. But first of all, make sure you're aiming it and go very, very slowly and softly before you start even worrying about this. Because again, we're not liable if you try to go through a super hard box and your fingertips all break, because this is just a suggestion. All right, the next part of the basics is going to be a crane's beak. So the snake has a couple of different characteristics that the monks were trying to mimic. One of them is the rhythmic endurance and the speed and the time strikes. So it's like almost a counter striking with that whipping motion. The other thing is that it has the wrapping ability, and then it also has those explosive kind of like, I think I said whipping. Poison strikes is one of their characteristics. So we're going to take our fingers together like this. This is a crane's beak. So first we practice to the air. So we're going from our fighting stance and we're pretending we're targeting somebody's eyeball, which is roughly the size of a paper towel holder like this. So we're going to take our fingers and try to poke into the paper towel holder without actually knocking the thing out of your hands. So if you're hitting the sides of it, it'll fall out of your hands. Parents, you can hold it for your kiddos, but their fingers will fit much easier than mine. Mine barely fit in there. So I'm having to use all my ninja abilities to poke through that hole. All right, the next set of basics. By the way, I'm not giving numbers for these basics because these are more of a repetitive drill. So I want you just to kind of go for it until you can figure out if it's going to work for you. And then if it isn't going to work for you, you keep doing it until it does work for you. So you may kind of catch your fingers on that last one, that crane's beak. For this one, we're going to be focused on targeting kind of the same way we were with the other ones, focused on the poison strikes. Super basic basics today. We're doing front ball kick. We're going to the 3 different levels. I have tape marked out on my my awesome backdrop today. So this is simulating kind of groin level. This is more like bladder level for the next one. The second one's at solar plexus level, and the third one's at chin level. So you can do this a couple of different ways. For basics, I would go just 10 kicks, front ball kick to the first, the lower tape. And again, you don't have to actually touch it. The goal is just to use it for targeting practice. then to the second level, to the solar plexus level. Notice my knee comes up before I extend my leg. And then the third one's going to be going to the chin level. So again, bringing that knee up and then aiming it all the way up towards the person's chin, as if you're kicking up and away, kind of like Anderson Silva did a few times in fights. I didn't say this on the last part. You're going to want to make sure you do that with both legs. I'm only using my right leg for the sake of filming because it'll be a little bit easier to see it. So the next one we're going to be doing is a front toe kick. So think of it like taking your giant big toe and poking it with something. Like, we're not going to aim for a hard target on that one. It's just not a good idea unless your toes are crazy conditioned like Master Brookman's. So what I'm going to be doing is aiming at that low one first. And again, I'm lifting and pushing. So I don't want it to be swinging up like that. That's bad news. I'm lifting and then I'm poking with that one toe. Up and poke with that one toe. And then as I go higher, I think of this one being kind of, on me this is more like my chin level. I would go just a little bit lower than that. So I'm hitting right at that clavicular notch. So I'm lifting and I'm going to try to get it right in that little hole right there if I can. Oh, I missed. See? So I'm not hitting hard. The goal on this is just for targeting for snake. So we're trying to be as accurate as possible. And again, 10 kicks per target per leg, but it doesn't count as a good kick unless you actually touch whatever your target is. Parents, you can tell them how to do it. All right, parents. This is the one that I'm the most proud of because I am a ghetto handyman. Not all of you guys have a blocker pad at home. We have them all at the dojo. So what I did is I kind of made a makeshift one. I used like my telescoping pole thing. So this was like pre-coronavirus level, like if I was working with a karate student. But thankfully, I have the extension available to be able to work from a really long distance with students with my, my little blocker pad. So we're going to be working a couple of different things with this today. For parents, it's kind of a dumb, silly, stupid craft that you can work on with your kids. But you can actually aim this at your kids' heads and it's not going to hurt you back. It's actually just made of a pillow, duct tape, and a big pole. Okay, hold on. So I'm holding on to my big old makeshift pillow whacker thingy. And Sensei Courtney's going to be in her fighting stance. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be aiming it towards the side of her head, and all she's going to do is bob straight down and do a D shape as she comes up. So you think of it like you're getting as close to the pad as possible. So if I'm swinging, she's under it, and then I come back to the other side, and under it, and under it. And notice she's going the same direction as the pad's approach. So she gets under it as fast as possible. And then one of the things we like to do is we like to add some punches with it. So she's going to duck under it now, and then when she's up, pow-pow, 1, 2, and then again, under it, pow-pow, when she's coming up. We can also combine hook punches, circular punches. Go back to your basics you were working on earlier in the day and do those crane speaks. So think of it like under it, pow, to the eyeballs. Oh, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I say that a lot. Under it, back up, pop, under it, pop. So, pause. Coronavirus! So what I'm going to be working on next, so we did the duck under, that was easy. She's done that probably a billion times before. The next one's going to be head movement. So I'm going to be going straight in towards her face. By the way, when I cover this up, I make sure I have tons of space between whatever the sticky part of the stick is, so that if it does actually hit, I'm not hitting with the end of the stick. And then just for safety's sake, I tape the end of it so that it doesn't slide down on the pole or off the end of the pole. So I'm going straight towards her face, and she's going to move her head to the side, and then the other way, her head to the side. And you notice when she does it, she's trying to move her weight on her legs. So instead of moving too much like matrix type action, she's trying to move on her legs as she moves to the side or to the side. And she's not going to turn her face towards it because coronavirus! So straight to the sides. And then we start doing a combination of the ones that we worked on. So she's under it, punch, punch. She's straight to the side. Maybe she comes up with a hook or a punch or something cray-cray like that. And then the last one we're going to work on is a fade and close. So a fade and close, sometimes you may have to move your feet just a little bit to move back because I still want my weight to be relatively close to centered on my feet. I don't want to be back 80% on my rear leg at any point in sparring if I can, or in any kind of physical altercation. So I'm trying to shift back to no more than 60-40. So if I come back, I swing at her, I can do a hook, I can do the straight one, she's doing the same thing. So if I go straight in, she's fading and closing. Boom, fading and closing. Or she's moving to the side, not following instructions as per usual. So she's fading and closing. That's it. Fading and closing. That's it. She's got ninja skills. Parents, please don't go straight towards your kid's face like this unless you put your their headgears on them while you're doing the practice. And if you do put their headgears on them, then maybe slide this down. Don't do that. Don't hit your kids. So again, fade and close. So we're working on a combination of the sets. So maybe she's under it, she's to the side of it, she's to the side of it, she does a fade and close, and that's it. So try to do it where you're going for probably like 2 or 3 minutes, almost the length of a boxing round while you're doing the head movements. Gotcha. While you're doing the head movements, and then do it maybe 5 or 10 rounds. All right, so that's going to be it for the snake, for what we're doing today. This is the advanced one. So your challenge this week, advanced students that are watching this, and probably beginning students that are going to try to put some stuff together too. Try to have the parents marry the techniques with whatever the drills were that we're working on. So as we're working on our basics, maybe I'm doing like an eye poke, followed by a bladder kick. Just basically meshing things together. So maybe my parent swinging at my head, so I'm doing my bob and weave and my punches and my kicks all together. And then so that you can kind of get used to that rhythmic exercise. Parents, you should really get that blocker pad in there to get them moving, because that's kind of the key in sparring anyway, is movement. So thank you guys, and we'll see you probably at your private lesson whenever you guys Skype in. Thank you.